It's 2:17 a.m. You know that because you've looked at the clock 3 times already. You told yourself you wouldn't look again, but you did. The room is quiet. The house is quiet. The world is quiet. But your mind isn't. Your body is tired. Your eyes burn. Your shoulders ache in that deep, dull way that only comes from carrying too much for too long, and still, you can't sleep. You're not scrolling. You're not watching anything. You're just lying there, staring at the ceiling, thinking and thinking and thinking. You don't even know what thought started it. It's never just one. It's a chain reaction. A memory from 10 years ago, a conversation from yesterday, a mistake you made, a text that felt different, the way someone looked at you, the way someone didn't. Adjust the pillow, pull the blanket higher, kick it off again. Your body wants rest. Your nervous system doesn't trust it. And here's the part you don't say out loud. It's not just insomnia. It's not just hormones. It's not just caffeine or stress or the room being too warm. You don't feel safe enough to let go. And that truth hurts because on the outside, you are strong. You have survived things people don't even know about. You've held families together. You've shown up when you were breaking. You have smiled when your heart was cracking. You've absorbed tension in rooms so others didn't have to feel it. You are the steady one, Bid. You are the steady one. The dependable one, the one people lean on. That's when it surfaces, doctor. That's when it surfaces the exhaustion that isn't physical, the loneliness that isn't about being alone, the quiet fear that maybe you have given so much of yourself away that you don't know who you are when everything stops. Sleep requires surrender, and surrender feels dangerous to someone who has spent decades holding everything together. You didn't become this way overnight. There were moments, thick ones, small ones, big ones. The night you realized you couldn't rely on someone the way you thought you could. The day you understood that being too emotional meant you had to shrink parts of yourself. The relationship where you learned that love could disappear without warning. The job where you gave your best and were still overlooked. The friend who slowly pulled away. The child who grew up and didn't need you the same way anymore. Each experience taught your nervous system something. Stay alert. Be prepared. Don't fully relax. Because when you relax, you get blindsided. So now, even in a quiet bedroom, your body scans for danger. Not physical danger, emotional danger. Rejection, abandonment, most of danger. Rejection, abandonment, loss. The possibility that you are not enough. It's subtle, it's silent, but it's there, and the mind starts reviewing evidence. Why didn't she call back? I did he sound distant? Am I becoming invisible? I did he sound distant? Am I becoming invisible? I did he. Am I too much? Am I not enough, baby? These questions don't shout, they whisper. And whispers are louder at night. You don't tell anyone this part. You handle responsibilities, you care for others, you keep moving. People might even describe you as composed, but at night when there's no distraction, the emotional backlog opens because you don't give yourself space to feel during the day. You don't have time, or maybe you're afraid of what would come up. So it waits until 2:17 a.m. There's a woman I once spoke to. Let's call her Maria. She was 47, successful, organized, the kind of woman people admire quietly. She had raised 2 children. She managed a demanding career. She was the one friends called during crises. She hadn't slept properly in 3 years. Doctors checked her thyroid, her hormones, her diet. Everything looked normal, but she wasn't. At night, she would lie awake replaying conversations, planning for worst-case scenarios, thinking about her aging parents, worrying about her job security, wondering if her husband still found her attractive, questioning whether she had wasted years of her life putting herself last. She told me something I'll never forget. I feel like if I fall asleep, something will fall apart. Not literally, emotionally. Like her vigilance was the only thing holding her world together. And here's what she didn't realize at first. Her insomnia wasn't just stress. Her insomnia wasn't just stress. It was unprocessed grief. Grief for the younger version of herself who had dreams she postponed. Grief for the love she didn't receive in the way she needed. Grief for the energy she used to have. Grief for the parts of her identity that quietly dissolved into roles. Mother, partner, professional, caregiver. No one had ever asked her what she lost. They only praised what she managed. So at night, her body demanded to be heard. Sleep wasn't the enemy. Silence was. Because silence made space for truth. And truth felt overwhelming. You might not call it grief. You might call it stress. Or hormones. Or just getting older. But listen carefully, when women over 40 can't sleep, it's often not because they're weak. It's because they have been strong for too long. Strength without softness becomes hypervigilance. Responsibility without recognition becomes resentment. Caregiving without care becomes depletion. And depletion doesn't knock politely. It shows up as a racing mind, a tight chest, a body that refuses to power down. You learned to be the stable one, maybe because no one else was, maybe because chaos forced you to grow up fast, maybe because you believed love had to be earned through usefulness, maybe because you believed love had to be earned through usefulness, baby. So you became useful, invaluable, indispensable. But somewhere in that process, you stopped asking, "We takes care of me? Who takes care of me? Who sees me when I'm not performing strength activity? Who holds my fears?" You tell yourself you're fine. You blame it on perimenopause. And yes, hormones shift, bodies change. But hormones don't create unresolved emotional weight. They amplify it. When estrogen fluctuates, your nervous system becomes more sensitive. What you push down for years becomes harder to suppress. That's why old memories surface. That's why small worries feel bigger at night. It's not that you're losing control. It's that your body is asking for honesty. You've outgrown survival mode, but survival mode hasn't left you. You still anticipate loss. You still brace for disappointment. You still prepare for worst-case scenarios, and preparation feels safer than peace, because peace feels like vulnerability, and vulnerability once cost you something. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was criticism. Maybe it was being told you were too much. So you hardened quietly, not in a dramatic way, just in a functional way. You became the woman who handles things, and handling things doesn't sleep easily. Here's the turning point most women don't expect. The night isn't attacking you. It's revealing you. When you can't sleep, it's often because your body finally has a moment to say, "We need to talk," not about your to-do list, not about tomorrow's meeting, about the loneliness you don't admit because you're surrounded by people, about the resentment you swallow because you don't want to seem ungrateful. But the resentment you swallow because you don't want to seem ungrateful, about the fear of becoming irrelevant as you age in a world that worships youth, about the quiet question, if I stop proving my worth, will anyone stay? That question keeps your nervous system on guard because your identity has been tied to output, to usefulness, to being needed. But here's the psychological truth. No one explained to you. Well, your body cannot rest when your worth feels conditional. Read that again. Your body cannot rest when your worth feels conditional. Read that again. Your body cannot rest when your worth feels conditional. If love had strings attached in your past, if approval came when you performed well, if affection was inconsistent, your nervous system learned that rest equals risk, because when you rested, you weren't performing. And if you weren't performing, you weren't safe. So now, decades later, your body still equates vigilance with security, even when there's no visible threat, even in a dark, quiet bedroom. This is not weakness. It's conditioning, and conditioning can change. But not through force, not through shaming yourself, not through saying what's wrong with me. What actually helps is not just supplements or sleep routines. It's emotional safety, and emotional safety begins with something radical. You stop abandoning yourself, you start telling the truth. In small ways, you admit you're tired, not just physically, but emotionally. You acknowledge the anger you've suppressed. You grieve what you lost. You allow yourself to want more without labeling it selfish. When Maria finally began sleeping again, it wasn't because she found the perfect sleep hack. It was because she started having uncomfortable conversations. She told her husband she felt invisible. She reduced her workload. She said no to things that drained her. She cried for the first time in years without apologizing for it. She stopped pretending she was endlessly capable. And something shifted. Her nervous system softened because she no longer had to carry everything alone. But she returned slowly, not perfectly. But honestly, you don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix yourself. You need to feel safe enough to exhale, and safety doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from knowing you are allowed to exist without earning your place. Right now, as you listen to this, maybe you feel exposed. Maybe part of you resists this stuff, because if this is true, it means you have to face emotions you've avoided. It means acknowledging that you are not just tired. You are under-supported, underseen, underheld, and you deserve more than survival. You deserve rest that feels earned simply because you are human, not because you completed your checklist, not because everyone else is okay, because you are worthy of peace without performance. Tonight, when you lie in bed and the thoughts start coming, don't fight them immediately. Instead of asking, "How do I make this stop?" try asking, "What is my body trying to say?" Listen gently. Maybe it's saying, "I'm scared." Maybe it's saying, "I'm angry." Maybe it's saying, "I'm angry." Maybe it's saying, "NG, I miss who I used to be." Maybe it's saying, "I need help." None of those messages make you weak. They make you alive. There is nothing wrong with you. Your sleepless nights are not a personal failure. They are signals, Pallier. They are signals. And signals can guide you if you're brave enough to decode them. This chapter of your life is not about proving. reclaiming the parts of you that got buried under responsibility, reclaiming your voice, reclaiming softness, reclaiming rest. You are not invisible. You are not past your prime. You are not too much. You are not too much. You are a woman who has carried worlds and is finally being asked to put them down. That might feel terrifying, but it is also freedom. The hidden reason you can't sleep is not that your body is broken. It's that your heart is overloaded. And overloaded hearts don't power down. Ask for support where you've been strong. Release what is not yours to carry. Let go of the belief that your value depends on how much you endure. You have endured enough. Now it's time to live. And living includes resting deeply without fear, without bracing, without proving. Tonight, when you close your eyes, imagine this. Nothing will fall apart if you rest. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to trust that the world will keep turning without your constant vigilance. You are allowed to be held. You are allowed to sleep. And the moment you begin to believe that, truly believe it, your body will follow. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually, softly. Like a guard finally stepping down after years of standing. Watch. You are not weak for struggling. You are brave for surviving. But you don't have to survive anymore. You can heal. You can soften. You can sleep. So with one honest admission, I deserve peace, even when I'm not performing strength. Say it quietly, let it sink in, and then little by little, begin building a life where that sentence is true. Because the most powerful thing you can do in this season of your life is not push harder. It's finally allow yourself to rest, not just at night,